Hello, and thank you so much for joining The World According to Wren Asher. I am Wren Asher, and this session is Words with Wren, where we talk about all things books and words and all things in between. So thanks so much for joining. Please do subscribe. So today we're going to talk about covers, and I'm going to compare a handful of covers and talk about my favorites simply based on the cover design. I have not read these books. I'm not talking about the back blurbs of the books, simply the design itself. So what's in a cover is this session today. Next session, I'm going to be talking about the books and my favorites based on the back cover blurb. And then the third session in this series is going to involve Jack. Jack is my little pup, and we do a Jack Attack session where Jack's going to pick his favorite as well. So, Words with Wren, what's in a cover? We're comparing covers today for thrillers, and these thrillers have all come out in the last handful of years. If you go into a bookstore, you're probably seeing them in the shelves. And I simply want to break down my favorites from these six and why I picked the ones that I've picked. So to begin with, and of course I wanted to make sure you could actually see the cover and not the mirror reflection. So I have it on the main screen as well. But Riley Sager, and of course, I love all of these authors, by the way, that goes without saying. But again, I have not read this one, the only one left. And I'm going to say right away, right off the bat, which catches my attention, the bold colors. I love the red. I love the pop of blue, the fact that the title is centered and it's aggressive font in the fact that it's large, it's bold, it's in charge, it's taking over. I also love the fact that you can tell there is, it looks like a mansion or a huge resort or a building of some kind at the top of this very troublesome looking cliff face, which could obviously be an aspect of the book because when you look about or when you think about covers, oftentimes publishing houses and authors want to have an aspect on the cover that is central to the storyline without giving too much away. But if I had to guess, especially with the churning water below and the cliff face and the building, that has to do with the storyline itself. But I would say there's a lot of intrigue here. You can tell this is going to be a thriller or a suspense based on the cover itself. And I'd say that the color palette is very eerie. And I could see this, being turned into a movie and seen in the edge of your seat or jumping every 5 seconds based simply on the bold colors and the way it hits me. So definitely in love with this color cover. I think it's fantastic, but we'll see how it stacks up to the others. So House of Glass by Sarah. I love the purple, of course. If you look at my YouTube channel, purple is a primary color on that particular page. So perhaps because it's, spring, summer months and we're thinking flowers, I really love the contrast of the yellow against the purple. It's almost like this purple pink. It's this really comforting, soothing color, but yet there's this girl that looks, she's in shadow and she looks like she's investigating something or she's suspicious of someone or something. And House of Glass, that's bold and right at the top there as well. So that's certainly catching my eye. So I'm also a huge fan of this cover because I do think it's very suspenseful looking. So let's look at Sherry's. What have you done? So this one's a little bit different in regards to the fact that there's a little bit of a design element on the bottom, and you can see it looks to like a farmhouse. There's a path leading to the farm, a little dirt path. A lot of it is skyline though, and the skies, and it looks like there are, some perhaps storm clouds that are gathering. I do like the yellow. It's not quite as bold as Sarah's yellow. And I'd say the font's maybe not as gripping for me as House of Glass. But I'm still, again, I'm still intrigued by the strong color palette, especially the yellow on the binding. That's, something you can see when it's just laying down flat as well. So it is an intriguing color palette, similar to the last one at the wedding. But the interesting thing with this title is it has the strike through design. So right away, you're kind of wondering about that. And it's clever in the fact that it's the last one is what's left. So very similar to, Riley's the only one left, right? So last one, I'm kind of getting Agatha Christie vibes a little bit. But here as well, you can tell that there is some sort of, perhaps resort or mansion. It's lit up in the background there, and obviously a lot of water. And it's kind of glowing, so it's a nighttime scenario. So again, a lot of intrigue. I like the gold, and when you're holding it up, it does kind of shimmer as well, which is really nice. Like you can tell with this book, it's more of a flat design to it. If my background, of course, is making this challenging, but that's a little bit more flat, but there is an actual gold metallic kind of feel to this one. And when you feel over the cover as well, it's actually somewhat raised, or you can feel that it's kind of indented in the cover. So it's an interesting textural component for the last one at the wedding. So again, all these covers are great. I'm just going to end up ranking my favorites to least favorite. So Ruth Ware, huge fan of Ruth Ware, of course. I do like the fact that there is, again, some kind of iridescence to this cover. So right away, like depending on how the light catches it, you can see it's kind of glaring at you a little bit. So I could see if I was in a bookstore, for instance, and this was on top of a pile of books, that would catch my attention. But beyond that, you're going with kind of that silver white background, a little bit of red. It's definitely different compared to the other books in the market right now that kind of have that similar look and feel to them. So that does make it stand out, but I don't know if this would necessarily make me grab it over some of these others. And then lastly, we've got James Peterson's The Writer. And this one, has a little bit of raised writing on it, and this is a hardcover copy. But you can see there's a female, she's in shadows, and you've got the blacks and the reds, and then kind of that gold. And I do like the fact that the writer's in cursive, something about that just kind of pulls me in a little bit more. It's almost like someone wrote it in a hurry. It's the writer and it's a thriller. And so that in itself is compelling. I think like the backlighting is kind of eerie as well. So it makes me wonder, what's happening, what's going to go on. So all of these are intriguing, but when I stack ranked them, this is what I ended up with. So you'll see one was Riley Sager, the only one left, simply because everything about it makes you want to pick it up. The size of the writing, the color scheme, the fact that we do have a cliff and water, and there's a lot of different elements that are provided in this image that pull me in. And I love too that your eyes kind of go up toward the top of the cliff, and right away you're wondering what's going to happen, and you can tell it's going to be a nail biter of a story. So I would say that's my number one. Number two, I'm definitely intrigued by this, the strike through writing. It's something that, again, compared to the rest of the books, it's different, right? So right away that catches my eye, and if I saw it in a bookstore, I might gravitate to that one next. I would say number three is House of Glass, because that yellow, that purple, the shadowy figure in the background, and there's just something warm, inviting, but yet the actual type of font used is bold and a little bit sinister in my mind. So I would gravitate to that number three. Number four, What Have You Done? Simply because, I mean, I love the color arrangement there, but it doesn't pull me in quite as much as some of the others, perhaps because the imagery in the bottom's a little bit smaller and you have a lot of that cloudscape in the background. That's kind of the majority of the cover. So for me, that would be number four. Number five would be The Writer. I do love the backlighting, but it is similar to House of Glass. But the color scheme, it's just black, red, and kind of that gold. So there's not a lot of other color elements happening in that particular design, which for me right now doesn't make me gravitate towards it as much as some of the others. But again, still super compelling. These are all amazing covers. I obviously picked up each one of them and will be reading them. So they're all winners. And then last is Ruth Ware's 0 Days, simply because I can't pick up a lot from what's happening on the cover. But I know everything with her is a huge hit. So it's going to be amazing no matter what the cover looks like. So that summarizes the exercise today. And If there's any covers I should compare next, please let me know. Subscribe to my channel. This was Words with Wren, and join me next time for The World According to Wren Asher. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Drop a comment below. And until next time, stay safe and be creative. Bye.